What we are hearing is that you want to be a responsible leader in business. What we are hearing is you want to embrace those three bubbles. So just a quick recap. So the three bubbles involve what? One, quick recap. One.
Professional values.
Professional values. Two,
technical competencies.
the enabling competencies. Three,
Integrated thinking.
so that's the togetherness. So what are we bringing before we get to integrated thinking? What elements are we bringing? So personal, what?
Technical competency.
Technical competencies. So this is what you're saying you want to be. You want to have all those things. So you want to have all those things. So when we see you posting there on LinkedIn and say that I made it, we are saying that that candidate is now saying they are a what? They are an integrated thinker. They are a responsible leader in business. That's what we interpret. That is why they say there's value in the profession, because we are now simply saying what? We are now simply saying, that there is a measure, there is standard that SAICA, ICAN used to say this one can enter into the profession. Right, now, let's start with the first enabling competence, business acumen. So business acumen, what is it? Because sometimes it's easy for us to be in the same class, in the same room, to be talking and throwing this terminology, but essentially not being aligned in terms of the expectation. So now, what is business acumen? So this is where we need to align. So SAICA and these other professional bodies, when they sat together, they then decided and agreed that despite the so many definitions that might be out there, for them, when they talk about business acumen, they say it is the ability to make quick, correct, and or focused strategic decisions. So do you see why it becomes difficult to divorce business acumen from strategy? Because embedded in it, it is our ability to make decisions, not just decisions, strategic decisions. That in addition to make good judgments in a business or business division. So let's take that in. So when we say you've got good business acumen, exceptional business acumen, we are saying you've got the ability to make quick, correct, and focused strategic decisions and good judgments. But now you might be saying that, but how do I show it? How do I bring it to someone's attention that I've got good business acumen? Then they say that you need to master these three things. And what I love about them is that they also gave you guidance to what extent you need to measure them, to master them. They've got 3 levels of mastery: level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1, it is the most foundational. It's like by the way. Then level 2, it is intermediate. We expect it of you at this time when you are entering your training contract in the design of the assessment. So it is intermediate. Then level 3, it is at an advanced level. So what they are now saying to us, they are saying that business acumen, if we look at the shaded area or the shaded text, they are saying that it's got 3 elements. 1, business internal environment, and 2, business external environment, and 3, innovation and creativity. The 3, all right? So we've got these 3 things. So we've got these 3 things. Now, let's just understand what do they mean. Number 1, remember, it's all about your ability to make quick, correct, and focused strategic decisions and good judgments. And they're saying number 1 as the component, it is business internal environment. So they're saying that when we ask you a question, you need to bring at an intermediate level what your understanding of the business internal operations to make those quick, correct, and focused strategic decision good judgments. So when we talk about business internal operation, we are saying that when we tell you what this business actually do, take it as it is and think about the so what. So in other words, because it's not a level 3, I want you to work with what I've given you. I want you to demonstrate your analytical skills to what I've given you. So I'm going to describe the business to you. I might even describe the governance structure. I might describe the production process, but I want you to understand the business that you're dealing with in that particular paper. What does it do? How does it create value? Do you understand its internal operations? And because it's at a level 2, I don't expect you to have known about this business before. What I've given you in the scenario, it's enough. Then you might then say that, but how do I know these things relate to the internal operations? How will they know that I'm actually addressing an internal matter here? How will I know, even as a candidate and I'm sitting there, that I'm now hitting business internal environment? And what they've now done is that firstly, in the exam, they will then ask you to say Z1. So Z1 refers to business internal environment. And therefore, for you to get a mark in your answer, you need to hit points that talk to internal operations. Did you understand the expectation? So they're telling you that for this mark, for you to get it, you need to have considered the internal operations of this business. Then number 2, it's business external environment, which they've referred to as Z2, and they've put it at what? L2. So understanding of the business external environment is crucial to making those quick, correct, and focused strategic decisions. Then lastly, it's innovation and creativity. So here, this is in itself, it is a very high competency to demonstrate. How so? Because here you might need experience in the sector. You might need a little bit of research in the sector. We will likely expect this maybe come the IAC that they have designated for 2027, and will also expect it of you in the APC. Because in the APC, we'll have given you the business internal and external environment in advance of the sitting. You have an opportunity to go out, understand the issues, and to do it, and to be able to see what solution you can put on the table. But we don't have that luxury in the IAC. And as a result, Z3 of developing new concept, innovative ways, new ideas of promoting a business success, or having a questioning mind is not going to be significantly expected of you. That's why even in some instances, they might ask you, identify the risk and the mitigants. The mitigants, you'll find that they are very, They are very straightforward or shorthand to say that if I've got a forex currency issue problem, what do? I hedge. But in higher level order that innovation and creativity is, we might expect you to say, no, you should not hedge using an FEC, but you should hedge using a participating FEC. You should hedge using 50% option and 50%. Now you are demonstrating innovation and creativity because you've got an opportunity to have what? To have broken down the issue. But now, because we don't have that luxury in the IAC, it's at level 1. So it is at a foundational level. So if you have it, the most will be giving you like you are seeing that the company is in a declining market and say they need to diversify because they're in a declining market, even without necessarily telling us that they need to diversify in industry X, Y, and Z, because it's at a foundational level. But for level 2, we might give you more information about the other industry, where now you might say, let's diversify to this other industry because there are problems here. These problems are clarified by 1, 2, 3, and so on and so on. So this is what then, when we talk about business acumen, they're expecting from you. Does that make sense as a starting point? All right. Then, obviously, there should be a little bit more guidance to say internal and external. How do I know I'm hitting the right one? And that's where our strategy analysis models come in. So our framework, you'll remember that in our syllabus, we've got PASTEL, Porter's 5 forces, and the 6 capitals. So those internal operations, we are thinking about the 6 capitals that I've spoken about here. And just to then guide you, there is a CTA videos that go into detail on this. But just to give you some high-level thinking about what will be expected. So you might say, which one should I deal with? You can deal with either one. The examiners will then determine whether to get that mark, do you need to just hit 1 or 2 of these 6 capitals? That will be at the examiner's discretion. So for instance, when you are making a decision, you will need to say financial. Let me think about the sources of financing. Let me think about the financial performance of the company. So in making a decision, it could be that we are buying or thinking of buying another company. You might say that, but we don't have enough cash. That is an internal consideration. You are now on your way to securing that what? Z1 business internal environment point. You might say that given that we are already highly geared, taking more debt might not be advisable. Great. Because we are doing well, we are able to use our reinvested earnings because of our revenue increasing because of the pressure in cost, but you are now showing the funding decisions under the financial capital. Does that make sense? What we'll then be looking for under the financial if you were to talk to us about the internal operations. Then manufactured. This is where you might be saying that, but the equipment that we have, it's a little bit dated. It is risky, or it exposes us to injury to our employees, to inefficiencies because of repairs and maintenance and downtime, to high electricity consumption, and also to revolts against what civil society groups that are for what? That are for, what do you call it? For the green economy. So there are a number of what? There are a number of considerations that we will then be looking for right there. But do you get how then the internal looks like? You have to, they have to generally be specific to the company. You can't say something is internal, but it's not specific to the company you're talking about. So you can't say we need to consider whether it needs to raise debt when we've given you enough information for you to tell us whether there's sufficient debt or not. Then the external, you could now be hitting either the Porter's 5 forces or the Pestel. How so? You could then, from a Pestel perspective, say that, but the problem is there is political uncertainty with regards to the tariffs that are being thrown around or being introduced. There is political uncertainty around the continued existence of the government of national unity. There is a problem because these tariffs might increase the what? The inflation or the cost of goods. They might also result in availability of goods, because if I'm hit with tariff and I can't send my goods to the US, then I might find myself having to do what? To reduce labor and cut down my production, and therefore affecting availability. We have already seen that the rand has been negatively affected, which is an economic consideration. So we are saying bring the economic factors, not necessarily the out there, the things that we will have given you in the context. We are still at level 2. We are not at level 3. We are at level 2, intermediate knowledge or application. So we will have given you and said that the rand has currently been under pressure due to the tariffs. Then that's enough for you to say, no, that means there might be currency risk. Because what we are looking for is not for you to know the issues and bring them, but it is to apply the issues that we are giving you in there using these particular models. So that is how you will then score your Z2. Does that make sense? Are we clear about how that might then be expected of you? So let us just quickly recap using the what? Using the Jen paper. Are you able to see my screen? I've got the PDF document. Great. So now this is the Jen IAC. So in the Jen IAC, they said in one of the questions, so don't want to take it from you, to say, discuss the key strategic risks and benefits in the decision to invest in drones that might affect the overall sustainability of Sprayte and provide overall mitigation action of the strategic risks identified. So 2 requirements, right? Discuss 1, strategic risk, 2, strategic benefits, 3, the what? The mitigants, 11 marks. And they said what? They then said discussion of the risk and benefits, that will be 8. And the mitigants, that will be what? That will be only 3 marks. We're like, thank you for clarifying. But notice what they then had. They had Z1, which is business internal consideration. They had Z2, which is business external environment. So do you see this? So that means now you are sitting here. You are saying that the strategic benefits, risk, and mitigants, there will be some that are externally focused. Maybe there are threats that are outside. There are opportunities that are outside, that this investment in these drones will then be able to take advantage of or to avert. But there might be some weaknesses or some strength internally that may be strengthened or that may make this decision to succeed. Remember that it's all about the ability to make good decisions. Do you see that? So do you see that now for you, when you are busy going to review, say, your script, when you're going to work through these papers, you don't need to then say internal, external. No, it will be just for you to say, before I go, I've discussed this thing, but have I demonstrated that I understand the internal issues? Have I demonstrated that I understand the external issues affecting TT? Do you see and do you understand the expectation we have of you? Questions? So now you might say that, all right, that means when I answer this question, because I've been told that the 6 capital helps me with what? The 6 capital helps me with the internal consideration. You can come and write in keywords during your reading time and say that, 1, think about financial capital, think about the manufactured capital, think about the people. Because obviously, if we're investing in drones, there must be a people element. People are internal. Then what about my social and relationship capital with the government, with the communities? What about my natural capital? Are these things really sustainable? Don't they affect the environment, flying in the air and all these things? So do you see? You now put that framework down. You are bound to start seeing issues or asking the right questions. Then external. Great. I now have about 9 things to look at. I can look at political, economic, technology, social, legal, environmental. I can also look at my substitute competition, suppliers of these things, customers, and also other people coming into the market. I've got 11 things to think about under business external environment. How do I then bring this together? Do you see how strategy can really be nailed by you just having a strong business acumen? And that's what I was saying during the open day, that these should be the questions that you maximize on. Because if you've got such frameworks, those frameworks will not let you down. Those frameworks will help you significantly. Then in the other paper, this other paper, this was now paper 2. So in this paper 2, they said discuss the key risks. Discuss the key risks and do it. And that was that French, oh yeah, let's call it French. French cat was exposed to in its operating environment. Here they even told us to remember the environment. And we know the elements of the environment are personal, economic, and so on. Then they say Z2 business external environment, because they told us that it is the operating environment. But here, when they now have put external, they are now guiding us that the focus of our 11 marks should be external consideration, that the internal elements might not be the ones that will sway the examiner. The examiner is interested in what? In the external business environment. Guys, do we see these things? Do we see that these things are not there to complicate our lives, but rather they are there to give us more guidance and to help us to succeed? Can I hear from you? Any thoughts? Let me just hear where you are. You're too quiet for me. Anyone?
Yeah, I think maybe
Sure.
the silence is because that we are seeing where we went wrong. So it's more like a correction in our mind. But we're
Okay.
understanding so much.
All right. No, thank you for that feedback, Kumutsu. Thank you. Okay. Emelo, yes, please.
Good evening, everyone. I think I'm finding it very interesting to see the competencies that we strive so hard to achieve on our audits and whatnot now coming through into the assessment. Then you see how now everything is all interlinked. And I do agree with you that having the competencies now referenced there at the bottom does in a way help you in terms of your focus and what you should be thinking. Or it's a guide. It really is a guide. So yes, thank you very much for that.
All right. No, thank you for that feedback. And I love how you've referenced the training aspect, because in their mind, they said they wanted there to be elements. And I think when they were talking to us, it was a more of a perspective from an APC to say, because one of the things was a lot of times candidates will get to the APC without having heard these things before. So now it was a matter of, no, now it's a different regime. They have this as part of their training framework, such that when they now get to the APC and they've now fulfilled that 20-month requirement, these things are not new. They have to some extent engaged on them with their supervisors, audit managers, and other key individuals within the organization. And that's why I was saying that it is because they have to be developed over time. They are meant to be embedded, and for you to be mindful of them in everything that you do. It's just now from an exam perspective, we are just trying to what? To highlight them and make you demonstrate that in that context. All right, maybe now, where are we? Okay, now let's, I don't know, maybe let's take a quick 10 minutes break, and then we'll come and discuss decision-making acumen, which is also referred to as critical thinking. So my time, where's my time? My time is 10:30 or 19:13. So let's come back at what time? What will be 25 past? Let's come back at 25 past 8. Oh, no, so what am I saying? 25 past 7. Yes, thank you. Just a quick break. Thank you.